Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Sunday morning space with me, Kalu Aja. Of course, in this space, we're talking money, the economy, and personal finance. We're here every Sunday, taking those finance topics, making them easy, chewable, and bite-sized, so that way you can become better, understand more about your money and all. That's our goal here. This week we are talking taxes, Nigerian taxes, which is not an easy thing to do. Taxes are a boring subject, right? But you know what they say, debt and taxes are the only two things that you're going to experience for sure in your lifetime. You're going to have to pay taxes, right? So if you don't know, the context is that Nigeria has basically reformed her tax, the entire tax structure really in Nigeria. Everything has been reformed. We now have four brand new, should we say, tax acts. Official, the names are the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Act, the Joint Revenue Board Act, and of course the Nigerian Tax Bill. So all these are they're like four of them, tons of pages. And what I've tried to do since yesterday is to try to highlight the personal finance side of it, the one that's really going to concern you, like the personal person. If you have you're paying personal taxes, i.e. payee, or you have a small business, what are in these tax laws that will really affect you? Are your taxes going to go up? How should you sort of set up your spending, your income, your behavior to, avoid taxes? So tax avoidance, guys, is legal. You can avoid tax legally by doing certain things. The government wants you to do those things. That's why they give you a break if you do them. Tax evasion is not legal, so you can't evade taxes, but you are more than welcome to avoid taxes. So if you just go back on the time, I think it was yesterday, I was posting with the hashtag FinPlan taxes. So if you want to just go back and grab those FinPlan taxes post or tweet, you would see really I've sort of digested a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about today. Like, for instance, the tax table, where we are on the proposed taxable income. I'm going to share them again so you guys can follow. I just reposted that. We have the new taxable table and all that, so you can see the first 800,000. If you earn 800,000, so just below the minimum wage of 70,000. If you earn just that amount of money, you are not going to pay any taxes. That's personal income tax, whatsoever, to the federal, now the Nigerian Revenue Service. So that's a big break. And as a second follow-up on this, I think if your employer commits to raising your income from this 800,000 to about 1 million, your employer also gets a tax break as well. So a lot that we can go through and look at how you can sort of structure your personal life. There's just no way to chew this big thing. But what we're going to do, let's go straight into it. Again, I'm going to speak very, very short. Then you guys can hop on. If you're a tax guy, indicate you are, so we can ask you more questions. If you have a question, hop on, request to speak, send a DM. And we would love to have you guys do that. So I'm just going to go straight to the one I posted about the personal income tax exemptions, i.e. what can you do to essentially then pay less taxes. That really has not changed so much. I'm just going to find it because I think it's almost the same as we had. They're now called, they're now called exemptions, right? No, let me look at the exact name. And then we'll just basically run through it. So that way you can know, hey, going forward, because it's going to start in 2026. So right now, as you are doing your budget, you want to try to make sure that you are sort of planning around how you are going to do your budgeting and your spending, right? That's what you want to try to do. So they're now called eligible deductions. So these are things that you can do as an individual with your organization to reduce what we call your taxable income. So essentially, if you earn ₦1 million, that's your income, but that's not your taxable income. Your taxable income is going to be the income you have left over after you have removed the deductions I'm going to talk about. So if you earn ₦1 million, for instance, and you contribute to the National Housing Fund, if you contribute 100,000 or 10,000 to the housing fund, your taxable income then falls to that 900,000. See how it works? When you contribute, your taxable income falls. So where do you contribute? National Housing Fund. So that means you want to ask your employer, am I contributing to National Housing Fund? And if you are, where is the money going to? You want to basically use that money for something, right? Because now if you contribute, you get that eligible deduction. So National Housing Fund is one. The second is going to be your National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS. So if you contribute to NHIS, what you contribute is also deducted from your income, right? So that sort of gives you another deduction there, and an eligible deduction, as we know, right? So that's two. The third one, I love this one very well a lot, is your retirement savings account. So if you contribute, the law says is 18%. You contribute 8%, your employer contributes 10%. So to see straight up, that's an additional 10% to your income once you work for someone or an organization and open an RSA on your name. It's in your name, not in the company's name. You get that 10% first of all, and anything you contribute is now an eligible deduction. Remember, you can also do what the PF is called, that's a pension fund administration. They call it an additional voluntary contribution. So you can contribute 18% of 1 million, which is you are doing 8%, your company is doing 10%. So you are just doing the 8%. You can move that 8% to 15%. That would be an additional contribution that you are making. That would reduce your income. So your income that will go down, meaning that you're going to pay less tax. So your taxable income also falls. So I mean, all these things, the point is, if you don't have them, get them. So that by 2026, you are reducing your taxable income, but you're investing for yourself. Nothing wrong in you investing in housing fund or NHIS or RSA. Now, this is number 4, is interest on loans for building your own home. So let's say you borrow money from a bank to build your own home and you're paying interest to the bank. You can claim that interest, right? Deduct it from your income. So essentially, in the tax law, if you rent, you can deduct 20% of the rent you're paying. I think it's capped at 500,000. And we give an example on the tweet as well. So if your rent is 1 million, right, and you are paying rent of whatever it is, you can deduct 20% of that rent. That's a deduction for you, but it's capped at 500,000, and it's only if you are renting. So if you own your home, you can't deduct anything apart from the interest. So if you borrow money for a mortgage to build your own home, you can deduct the interest you are paying on that loan. So that's a very, very big one right there. Of course, the fifth one is going to be annuity or premium that you pay for life insurance. This is for you and your wife. So if you are doing your RSA, you also want to buy life insurance. Life insurance is a very, very unique investment. You can buy it today and you have the sum assured immediately. You are not insuring your life. Remember, guys, you are insuring your loss of income. So if you say, for instance, you own a home and you bought that home on a mortgage, and that home is your mortgage is worth about 100 million. You would go buy life insurance for 100 million. Why? So if anything happens to you, the life insurance can pay off that mortgage. So your family has, a place to stay. That's how you want to look at life insurance. Don't look at it as you're insuring your life. Look at it as you're insuring the loss of income, right? And if you do that way, it makes sense for you. When you pay your premium and the premium of your wife, you can deduct that from your taxable income. So the point is, if you look at this National Housing Fund, NHIS, retirement savings account, interest on loans, and annuities that you pay, these are reducing your taxable income, which is the point of it all. That's what you want to do, because these are also good for you. You have your retirement, you have your home, you have life insurance. Those are good things to do. It reduces your income so that you are able to pay less taxes to the Nigerian Revenue Service. So like I said, we're going to keep on going back and forth into those tweets that I highlighted. And if you have questions, we'll come back to them. Larry, how are you doing? First guy to be here. What's on your mind, man?
So thank you very much for the opportunity. I came quite late into the space. I didn't actually know it was happening. I just bumped into it and I quickly came in because tax is my thing.
Gotcha.
I just quickly bumped into. So I don't know how much you have said before I came in, but what I met you talking about are the deductibles,
correct,
which will reduce your taxable income. And you are perfectly correct on what you have said. But I don't know what has been said earlier, so I don't actually know what to comment on.
Oh, we just started. We literally just started. So you are right at the very top. I mean, is there anything that could you also? I wonder, since you're a tax person, the rent part, right? It's capped at 500,000. But they removed the rent, what's it called? There was, before this law was passed, right? Before you could claim the same rent. Can you just explain more on this rent? What was the thinking behind capping it at 500,000? Because which homes do we rent for 500,000 in Lagos, for instance?
Okay. Prior to this time, there was no issue there was no relief for rent.
Yeah.
And the deductibles for tax. Prior to this tax reform, there was nothing like that. Government is just trying to find a way of giving relief to Nigerians based on the fact of the effects that we had from the removal of subsidy and all that. They are trying to find a way to reduce the burden for the ordinary Nigerians. That's why they brought up the issue of rent as another relief to cushion the effects. Now, the intention of the government is not to pay your rent. The intention is just to give small relief to those who are paying the rent, so that even before now, the deductibles we have had in the past is not actually to fully defray the effect of the economy on you, but just to give you a small relief from what you have been having. So the thinking behind it is that let's just give a small relief so that it can at least cushion the effects of the reform that government did.
I got it. I'm just saying that, like if you ask anybody in Lagos or Port Harcourt or Abuja, 500,000, it's something. But it's something. But I'm just saying, rent is a lot. I guess we'll take it. Let me ask you.
Another thing is that the purpose of this tax reform is to reduce the tax burden on the lowest of the lowest in the cadre in the society. Those who are in the high income cadre is actually the purpose of this tax is to target the people who are in the high cadre to pay more tax, and for people who are in the low cadre to pay little or nothing.
Okay. So if we look at again, guys, I tweeted the new tax table. So the first 800,000 you pay no taxes. That's just near the minimum wage. So if you earn about 66,000 a month, you don't pay any taxes whatsoever. Then the next cadre is if you earn 2.2 million, that's you pay 15%, correct? Is that correct?
Absolutely.
2.2.
Absolutely.
Then if you get the 9 million, you pay 8. That is a tax rate, so it's marginal, right? So it's earn 9 million, you pay 18%. If you earn 13 million, you are paying 21%. Then if you earn 25 million, you are paying 23%. Wow, that's a quarter. A quarter of your income.
Absolutely.
So it just means that just for me, I will say this: if you earn 25 million, That's 2 million a year. I think that most folks listening on this space, many people earn about 2 million a year. If you don't take proactive action, you're going to pay a quarter, marginally, I mean, of your income to the government. So this is not V8, this is just payee. So it makes sense for you to really go back to what we talked about, those allowances you're going to do. National Housing Fund. Let me talk about National Housing Fund again. And just correct me if I'm wrong, right? National Housing Fund, the Pension Reform Act has said you can borrow 25% now from your PFA, and you can use that PFA as a contribution towards a mortgage or interest to own a home. So the way I would approach this is that you want to first of all confirm that you are making National Housing Fund contributions. If you confirm that, confirm the account is going to, confirm the mortgage bank is going to. I will then go to my PFA if I want to buy a house, because I don't get any allowances if I buy a house. I get allowances if I'm renting. I will then go to my PFA and do that 25%. And then give it to the National Housing Fund company and then borrow money and buy my house. Then claim the interest on the loan to offset my taxable income. Is that a strategy that makes sense for us?
Yes, it does. It does, yeah.
So take housing fund, go to PFA, take 25%, put in the housing fund bank, use the money in the housing fund bank to then buy your home, and then pay the interest is deductible from your... Okay. Since I have you here, let me also ask you one thing that came up again. So the tax law says if you earn or if you have a turnover of less than 100 million, you don't pay any corporate income taxes. That is correct, right? So correct. I use the example with Mama, like a lady doing the buka. Because I had a guy that sells amala here and was telling me the revenue he makes is far in excess of, he makes a lot of revenues. So now if he makes less than 100 million, he does not pay any taxes.
Yes.
That is very, very good. So what happens when he makes one?
Prior to the reform is 25 million.
Okay.
Companies are categorized into three for tax purposes. The first category is those that make revenue less than 25 million. They are categorized as small companies, and they are not supposed to pay company income tax. While from 25 million to 100 million, they are considered as medium size companies, and they are supposed to pay 20% company income tax. While those that make revenue from 100 million to any amount, those are large companies. And they pay company income tax of 30%. So for government is now trying to increase the margin of those that will not be paying company income tax again, and so they brought it up.
Okay, so I don't pay any tax below 100 million. Good to know. Now let me come to crypto. I saw something here on crypto. It says if I buy digital assets, Bitcoin, any digital assets, and I make a profit, I pay capital gains tax, right? So this, absolutely. So now, so does it mean because I'm paying tax to the government, is crypto now legal? I can go to the bank and open an account and say I'm trading crypto. Is that what it means? Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, the way what they have done with this reform is they have actually leveraged on technology to connect all. For example, from the tax reform bill, the financial institutions have an obligation to report every organization and individual that have a revenue of 5 million monthly to the federal, to the national Nigerian
revenue service.
Nigerian, yes, exactly. They have so they will give that information to them without them asking. It's already in the law. So from those information that is given to them, they will know what is happening. They will know all these things that is happening. And another thing, for crypto, a lot of things being done there before now are shrouded in secrecy. So they too, what they have done, they already liaised with the foreign enterprises and for foreign agencies too, to be able to get intelligence from them on some of these transactions that are going on, so that they can be able to get what everybody is doing. I listened to Taiwo this afternoon on Channels Television. He was speaking to Laolu Akonde on this same tax, and he said they already signed agreement with 100 countries and agencies. So they already have an agreement of exchanging intelligence on transactions of Nigerians happening there and transaction of their people happening in Nigeria and all that. So they are leveraging on technology to be able to detect all these things.
Okay.
So that's what I can say on that.
So it's 60 million. If I earn 60 million a year, it's reported. That's 5 million a month. It's reported to Nigerian Revenue Service. So if I buy and sell crypto and I make a profit, I pay crypto tax to the government. Okay. Then it says if I incur a loss from crypto assets, I can only use that loss to offset crypto gains. I can't take my loss on crypto and offset maybe my loss on trading, something like that, something else. That's what they're saying, right?
Yeah, that has been in the law before now. And the idea is that you cannot rob Peter to pay Paul. If you have before this one, if you have 3 lines of business that you are doing business, if you make a profit from 2 and you make a loss from 1, you cannot relieve the loss of that one from the other 2. You must relieve that that loss from that same line from the subsequent income. Subsequent profit you make. Yeah. That's what you can do. It's something that has been in the law before. Okay. For even other companies.
Gotcha. Let's move to the small business side now. So the law is saying that if I own a small business, let me give an example. When I pay rent, I pay power, or I pay VAT. Those expenses, I can use those expenses to reduce my taxable income. The law is saying that if I don't pay VAT or I don't pay duty, I cannot use that deduction to reduce my corporate taxes. That's what the law is saying.
Yeah.
So, and I give the example of so that's major. So how will they know this? How will they know I haven't paid VAT? If I buy, I'm a bakery, I buy flour. If I don't pay VAT, they are saying that I cannot use that flour as cost, hence to reduce my tax. So I'll pay full tax on my turnover. That's what they're saying.
Well, on the issue of VAT, prior to this law, the way VAT works is that you have something you call output VAT. That is the VAT that you collect on behalf of government. The VAT you add to your invoice when you are doing business with somebody, the VAT you collect on behalf of government, that's the output VAT. While the input VAT is the VAT you pay on the goods and services that people render to you, the VAT you pay to them. So what you do normally is that you remove the input VAT from the output VAT, that is the net that you remit to government. And even this input VAT we are talking about, the input VAT is only on goods. Now, for the ones on services, what you do is you are going to add it to the cost of the service, and now less it from your income, from your revenue, to arrive at your net profit. That's the arrangement that has been before this new tax reform. But with this new tax reform, what they are now saying, another thing is that when you pay VAT on an asset that you buy, that VAT on the asset, what you do is that you are going to add it to the cost of that asset. In other words, you are going to capitalize it. You cannot set it off from your output VAT. But with this new tax reform, what they are saying now is that all the VAT that you pay either on goods, services, and capital expenditure, all those things are going to be allowed as input VAT, which you will subtract from your output VAT immediately, instead of either expensing it or capitalizing it.
I got you. Just the point I'm highlighting is this. If you're a small business in Nigeria today, from next year, if you are in the, let's say you are in the business of making bread, bakery, agege bread, you buy flour, you buy sugar, you mix flour, sugar, all that stuff together, you make agege bread. When you file your taxes, you are going to say, I bought flour for 10 million, I bought sugar for 10 million, I made bread and I sold bread for 12 million. So you write off the 10 million cost from your profit of 2. That's what I'm saying. So what they're saying now with this law is that if you don't pay VAT on the input VAT, i.e. on the flour and the sugar, you cannot claim that flour and sugar as an expense to reduce your taxes, which means that you're going to pay tax on 12 million, no deduction. That's what they're saying. I'm just making that point for folks to follow what I'm saying, that if you don't pay tax, VAT, duty, maybe you import a car, you don't pay duty at the port, or you buy a product, you don't pay VAT. If you are filing taxes, they will not allow you use that as that expense to reduce the turnover taxes. You will pay tax on the turnover. That's making that point for folks to follow. It's a very, very, it's major. It looks like a small thing, but you'll be surprised at the end of the year you are filing tax and you tell the government, oh, I do ice cream and I pay, this is my power bill. And they tell you, well, you can't use your power bill as an expense because you didn't pay VAT when you pay. Just an example, just for folks to be clear that what it means is VAT compliance is key. If you have a small business, you want to talk to your accountant. I would say from next year, keep every receipt on VAT. Scan it and keep it. Anything you do with VAT, with duty, with taxes to the government, don't say because they are not chasing you down, don't say I will not pay. If you pay, scan and keep month by month. So if they come to you, you can say, no, we paid this and we have the records. It's very important, guys. Larry, don't go anywhere. Let me just have a few guys I want to speak. I've got Ifex Trading. Ifex, what's on your mind, sir? IFREKX, Ifex Trading. Larry, let me go back to you. Ifex is not ready yet. Let's also go to the one about the SME. So I gave the example of an SME. Maybe I'm in Nigeria. I sell phones and I have a phone company in Dubai. Now, I own that phone company 50%. So that phone company makes a profit and they send me 50% of the profits in Nigeria. So that's how so the company in Dubai every year will buy and sell phones, and because I own them 50%, they will send me 50% of their profits in Nigeria. That's what it's saying. The law is now saying that when that company makes its profit in Dubai, the Nigerian Revenue Service would assume. So if I say I am not going to bring the profit from Dubai to Nigeria, I want to keep it in Dubai, because if I bring it to Nigeria, that is income and I pay tax on it. But if I leave it in Dubai, the Nigerian Revenue Service would assume that the income has been brought to Nigeria and will tax me on that. That's correct?
Absolutely.
What's the thinking behind this? What's the thinking?
Even prior to this time, a Nigerian, before this reform, according to the present Nigerian tax law, a Nigerian is accessible to tax on his global income. Not only on the income he makes in Nigeria, his tax is accessible to tax on his global income. So all the income a Nigerian makes from all over the world, according to the law, is taxable in Nigeria. So the fact that government has not been able to enforce it does not mean it has not been there before. So what this is doing is reinforcing what has been, and what this is actually trying to address is Nigerians have always been trying to creatively shield that income from coming to Nigeria. And before now, if the income does not come to Nigeria, Nigeria will not know and it cannot be taxed. So, but now, what they have a way of finding out now. So what they are saying is, it doesn't make any difference whether you bring it to Nigeria or you hide it there. When we see it, we are going to tax it in Nigeria. That's basically what they are just saying.
No, what they are saying that if they don't see it, they are saying that if the company abroad makes that profit, if whether you remit or you don't remit, the Nigerian Revenue Service will say you have remitted and will tax you. So
that's what I'm saying.
So essentially,
they know the fact that from experience, in order to avoid the tax, some people will just leave the money there.
Yes.
So that it will not come to Nigeria.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that they have seen that from experience, and that's why they are brought into this tax law, that it doesn't matter, you don't have to bring it. The moment that money is made there, we know you have 50% interest in the place. We are going to assume that money has been given to you, and we're going to tax it.
Let me ask you a question. I'm not sure if you can answer this, but let's say I am Davido or I am Burna Boy, and I do a concert in London O2 Arena and I make $5 million. Does this apply to them?
Absolutely.
Wait, so let me
understand. We're Nigerian.
So you are saying that Burna Boy, when he goes to O2 Arena, this is just your opinion, right? Or are you quoting? You are saying that when Burna Boy goes to O2 Arena and he does a concert and he makes $5 million, the Nigerian Revenue Service will tax him as if he made that revenue in Nigeria, or as if he has remitted that revenue to Nigeria. That's what we're saying.
You know, the way this works for these guys, they don't do this deal as an individual. They have an agency or an agent or a company that do all this negotiation on their behalf. They would have told them what they want to collect. So they are the ones that will do all these things. It's not in their name that money will come. It will come in the name of that company.
Yeah, but that's what the law is saying. The law is saying that that's exactly what they are saying. Because if Davido cannot receive money from someone he doesn't own, right? Yeah. Davido would own the rights to a song.
Absolutely.
And then the agency will sell his image and likeness to whatever, and Davido goes and does a concert. So what they are saying is that if Davido goes and does that concert, and the promoter says, by law, I'm going to give you 50% of the concert proceeds. Before, Davido can keep that money in London.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now they are saying that once Davido gets that money in London, whether he brings it to Nigeria or not, and again, I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying I know. They are saying that he will now pay tax on the money in London, even if he doesn't bring it to Nigeria. That's what they're saying.
No, they are not. See, actually, when they make such money outside Nigeria, they have their tax. You can't make money in that place and you will not pay your tax. Now,
I get that. So he pays UK taxes. I get that. What I'm saying is that if the agreement says that Davido gets 20% of the concert, so that is revenue to Davido London. London. So Davido London will pay tax in London. What I'm asking is that will they also consider Davido London, the money that Davido is getting in London, will they also consider because Davido is resident in Nigeria? There's this thing about residency. They clarified what residency is. So Davido is resident in Nigeria, not in London. But the company receiving the money is resident in London. So what I'm asking is that where is the connection? Will they say because Davido is resident in Nigeria, but he collected the money in London, we will assume that money has been collected in Nigeria? Is that what they're saying?
Exactly. Remember I told you that a Nigerian income globally is subject to tax in Nigeria.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So there's a guy on Twitter saying if Davido pays tax in the UK on money made, he will not be liable to under tax in Nigeria. That's not what the law is saying, Mr. Esquire.
Okay. This is the issue with that. There's something we call double taxation agreements.
Okay.
When Nigeria have double taxation agreement with some countries, very few, maybe like 20 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
I don't know whether with this tax reform they have increased it. Now, when a Nigerian make income in any country that we have double taxation agreement with, what will happen is that Nigeria will look at how much is the tax that person pay in that place.
No.
They will now look at how much is he supposed to pay in Nigeria.
I get that. So I think that is clear. I think we know that, yes, if you make income for Emeka UK enterprises, he will pay tax in the UK. We get that. I'm trying to understand what they mean by, if Emeka UK says that Emeka Nnewi receives 10%, what the law is stating is that Emeka Nnewi will be taxed as if they have received that 10%, whether Emeka UK sends that money to Emeka Nnewi or not. Emeka Nnewi will pay tax on the 10% that Emeka UK has said is due. That's the point I'm making. So when I say Davido, yes, Davido will pay tax in the UK on O2 earnings. But what does the agreement say with Davido UK and Davido that is a resident in Nigeria? The law is saying that Davido will be deemed to have remitted the money from the UK to Nigeria. Hence, the Nigerian Revenue Service will tax Davido for the O2 concert. According to the agreement that says, hey, Davido, if you come to O2, we're going to pay you 20%. That's what I'm asking. So if anybody knows this is what my understanding is saying that's what's going to happen. But let's see. So let me get a few guys to ask. Top boy, thanks for hanging in there. Top boy, what's your question?
All right, Carlo, thank you so much for asking that question because I'm in the entertainment industry, right?
Good.
And I am here in the States, and it's so confusing, and I need to understand what's going on because I have my company registered here in the States, and I also have it registered in Nigeria. So I need to understand how that taxation works because whatever money I make in Nigeria, right, I'm trying to remit it back here to the States. But at the same time, I still have to pay tax in Nigeria, right? And if I make money here in the States as well, is it that the government is saying, oh, you still have to pay the same tax in Nigeria because you are a Nigerian?
No, where you are resident. I think the key is, in the US, you pay global taxes as a US citizen wherever you are resident. So in the US, if you're a US citizen, wherever you are, you pay taxes. Nigeria is saying if you are resident or the property or the transaction happened in Nigeria, then you pay Nigerian tax. So if Bill Gates, for instance, buys a house in Lekki and Bill Gates sells that house in Lekki, he will pay taxes to the Nigerian government. He's an American, but the house is in Lekki. Fine. Where we're now talking about now is the thing with Davido, this remittance of withheld funds. So, you're in the entertainment industry. How do you get your agreement? If Davido comes to the US on a concert, Davido has a corporate, right? That corporate, for instance, is registered maybe in the UK or the Caymans. Let's say in the Caymans. So now they are saying that if Davido gets money, it's paid to him in the Caymans, which is a tax haven, right? The question I'm asking, I want to get clarity on this. The law is saying that it will be deemed, if Davido is deemed to have received income and does not remit that income to Nigeria, the Nigerian Revenue Service will say, we deem you have remitted it and we're going to tax you. That's what I'm asking. Is that what it means? That whether he goes to Cayman or not, if he goes and does that concert with you in New York and you pay him, then he's deemed to have received that money and he will pay tax in Ikeja. That's what I'm asking. So
yes, I agree with you. That's what I'm asking as well.
So let Larry come in.
Okay, thank you. I love this. What you have brought in now, the Cayman that you mentioned, that you just brought in now. The spirit of this tax reform is to deal with that Cayman you have brought into the matter. A lot of Nigerians make money. They go to tax haven to shield themselves from paying tax. So what this tax reform is doing is to unbundle those things and to make people to pay tax on that. Now, let me say something. You talk about, according to the Nigerian tax law, it's more important. It's more interested in your residency than your nationality. How do I mean? If a Nigerian is not resident in Nigeria and the person is making income from anywhere, Nigeria have no business collecting tax for the person. But if you are, if an American is resident in Nigeria and making income in Nigeria and everywhere all over the world, the person is taxable to tax in Nigeria. Now, how do you, let me just give you one way of determining residency. Anybody that stays in Nigeria for more than 183 days in a year, in a complete 12 months, 183 days, that person is deemed to be resident in Nigeria. And that person is taxable in Nigeria. So on the issue of, you said you have a company in Nigeria, you have a company in UK, and if you do business and all that, and how do you work around the income issue? Now, like I was saying the other time, there's something called double taxation agreements. If you make income in UK, for example, but you are resident in Nigeria, now that income that you make in UK, if you have been taxed in UK, and Nigeria have double taxation agreement with UK, what happens is that, let's say, for example, you are taxed 25% in UK, and what you are due to pay in Nigeria is 20%. Nigerian government will not tax you again because we have double taxation agreement. But if we don't have double taxation agreement with UK, and UK taxes 25%, Nigeria is supposed to tax you 20%, Nigeria will still tax you 20%. They are supposed to tax you originally.
I got you. So Larry.
Thank you so much.
So Top Boy and Larry. No, just be clear. I've posted the particular topics. That's part 2, item 6. So if you go on Twitter, I just posted. So we read the actual word in there. This is the actual. So go and read. I just posted it with Ray. And let me read it for you. The profits of a Nigerian company are deemed to accrue in Nigeria. Here again, I start again. The profits of a Nigerian company are deemed to accrue in Nigeria wherever the profits arise and whether or not such profits have been brought into or received in Nigeria. The key here is Nigerian company. Now they then go further. They go further because Top Boy is going to say, I have passport of America. They go further. Where a foreign company, Top Boy here, where a foreign company which is controlled by a Nigerian company has in a year distributed profits to its shareholders, right? And the Nigerian company has not distributed. The company's business shall be construed as distributed and included in the profits of the Nigerian company. This is the tax law I've just read. Yeah. So, Top Boy, there's a problem.
There's
no problem.
There's a huge problem because you literally have to be able to.
Okay. What they have done is to brought Nigeria. We're always saying we want Nigeria to be in the in Sena climbs. This is what they do. So Nigeria is joining the league of the Sena climbs.
Wow. DU, let me bring in DU is a lawyer. DU, help us out here. What's your take on this? What's your take? Will Davido pay taxes on concerts when at Coachella? What's your take, DU? You're a lawyer, sir, so help us out here.
Okay, good evening, everybody. From what I understand, if I think is one, I don't know, is Mr. Larry has explained, if there is an existing agreement that if you have paid tax when you earn money already, you will not be liable to pay tax in Nigeria. So let's use those who work remote, for instance, because we have many remote persons who work remote jobs. They are residents in Nigeria, but they work for companies outside the country. So if the country where they work, they pay taxes on all the employees they have,
Yeah.
there is already a reduction on the salary which they are earning. So if they have paid their salaries already, they cannot come to Nigeria pay the same tax again.
Okay.
So first tax has been paid.
That
you are
makes
going
sense.
to pay second tax. That is a double tax on them. But if, for instance, the country where they work, they just pay them full money because there are some arrangements. The country will tell you, or the company will tell you that we are paying you, this money we are paying you is without tax. We are not deducting anything. So if there were no deductions where the money was earned, so those persons, they are liable to pay tax in Nigeria.
So no, but again, guys, I want you to listen to what the post is saying. You guys are explaining double taxation. That's not what the post is talking about. The post is very, very clear. It's talking about when you earn when you earn revenue and you don't remit. You are saying that Davido will pay tax in the UK. We get that. But they are saying that the profits of a Nigerian company are deemed to accrue in Nigeria. So let's say he performs in O2. He pays O2 taxes. His own share, he keeps it in the UK. Well, that's his own shares, what they're talking about. That's his own share. So I get you, double tax will reduce it, Abi. You're saying double tax will reduce the burden because he has paid UK taxes, so he will not pay the same double tax in Nigeria. Okay, but will they still say, okay, we're going to accrue it in Nigeria, then we'll minus the double tax in UK? Is that what they're going to say?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Fantastic. Someone is asking me a question here. It's asking me how many countries does Nigeria have double? Let me ask Grok. Hey Grok, how many countries does Nigeria have double taxation agreements with? Let me see if they'll answer. So I'm trying to get that answer for you. Well, let me see.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Hey Grok. She's not answering. So let me try.
There's something you can find in Google now. I'm
trying to find it. That's what I'm asking. I'm doing voice mode. So let me see if she'll answer me. Hey, Grok. Okay, yeah, guys, go ahead. So very interesting. Hey, Grok. Not answering. Doesn't like Nigerians. Okay, so that's a bit clearer, but still, I'm just saying that we'll see some surprises down the line. So, but since I have you got two guys here again, they are also. Let me go to this one again. They are saying if a Nigerian company, let's say a Nigerian company is part of a multinational company. Let's say I use Nestle as my example. They are saying if Nestle does not pay taxes, let's say not Nestle, let's say a company that has a Nigerian subsidiary, and the foreign company does not pay, I think it's 15% in Europe. They will come to Nigeria and get the balance from the Nigerian company. That's what I'm understanding. That the OECD signed a minimum tax agreement that says global companies, Nestle, Coca-Cola, Ford, the global multinational companies are going to pay minimum tax of 15%. And they are saying that if they now assess them taxes globally and they pay 12%, for instance, they will now come to Nigeria or any country where they have a subsidiary and tax that company to then make it 15%. What's your take on that?
Yeah. Well, that's their position. As a matter of fact, one of the things that this tax law is driving at as well is to align with our OECD position. In the sense that they are driving that companies in Nigeria, big companies in Nigeria today should pay at least 15% as tax. At least 15% as tax. So whatever shenanigans any company wants to do and all that, if you go and give them one financial report and you now say your profit is 5%, you're on your own, government will collect 15% from you, minimum. No, that's one of the things that this tax law says you do. But on the question you asked earlier, how many countries does Nigeria have double taxation agreement with? There are 16.
16.
16, yes. Belgium, Canada, China, Czech Republic, France, Italy, the Netherlands, Pakistan, Philippines, Romania, Singapore, Slovakia, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, and the United Kingdom.
I didn't hear US. So Top Boy is happy. I didn't hear
Yes,
US.
we don't have anything like that with US.
So back to the question. If we don't have it to the US, so it's where the question is still open. If Davido goes to Coachella and does a concert in Coachella and gets paid to Davido Cayman Islands, he gets paid $1 million. The Nigerian Revenue Service would assume that $1 million was earned in Nigeria. Is that a correct position?
That's the correct position.
Okay. Top man, are you hearing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am. Thank you so much for addressing the question.
All right, but let me go back to this Nestle and 15%. You know, this thing was passed. I think when Biden brought it up, I was against it, and I think Buhari, the president then, was against it, and all that. Let me explain what's going on here, guys. When Ireland has become a bastion of economic growth in the whole of Europe. Why? Because Ireland doesn't charge corporate taxes. They don't, very, very little corporate taxes. So all the American, all the Chinese, all the companies maybe on earth go to Ireland and set up their headquarters in Ireland. So when you buy your iPhone in the UK, in Czechoslovakia, in France, the invoicing is done in Ireland, which means they don't pay taxes. So Ireland has just grown, and then from taxes they've expanded to manufacturing, to services. Let me give you a bit of. If you're a Nigerian, and you go to Ireland, and you set up a company, a Nigerian company in Ireland, the Irish folks have this business fund that they give you as a Nigerian to hire Nigerians to do marketing for your company in Nigeria. Let me say it again. If you go from Nigeria, you take your company from Nigeria to Ireland, the Irish government will pay you to employ people in Nigeria to sell the products that you make in Ireland. That's how far these people have gone. So they've taken taxes away from everybody. So they all came together and sort of ganged up against Ireland and said, no, we're going to impose 15% tax across the board, which means that wherever you pay your taxes, you must pay that 15%. It's bad for Nigeria. Why? Because Nigeria, as a small country, could have used low taxes to attract business and become an island. Now they've taken that away. Because why would anybody come to Nigeria when they can go to America and pay 15%? Why would they come to Nigeria? Nigeria could have offered them 0% or 1%. Singapore would have offered them 0%. You get what I'm trying to say? By equalizing Nigeria and the US, then nobody's going to come to Nigeria. Because why come? There's no tax benefit. It's like saying in Nigeria, Lagos has got the port, the airport, and everything. Why would I go to Gombe? Gombe has the, if you look at Nigeria's ease of doing business, Gombe is number one. Why would I go to Gombe when it's the same tax that I'll pay? I'll pay the same PAYE in Lagos and Gombe. I'll pay the same VAT in Lagos and Gombe and all that. So by agreeing to this, Nigeria has sort of equalized ourselves with the US, but without the infrastructure the US has. Africa should never have agreed to this. So that we would have used Africa as a low tax base, so that when they leave Ireland, they come to Africa. This is an error and it's not the tax law. They just simply adopted what the minimum tax had done. But I think strategically, it's an error for Africa to allow ourselves to pay 15%. Why charge Nestle 15%? I'll bring them in for zero. Let them come for zero. If you're going to open a plant in Agbara, come to Agbara and open a plant in Agbara. I get your FDI, I get your employment, I get your hotel, I get your PE. You are in here. You fly in here from Switzerland. I get a lot of business. Why charge them 15? They will just go back to Holland because it's the same tax. But I digress.
The little knowledge I have about Nestle that I just mentioned, I have a friend that works there. And the information I got from him is Nigeria, they cannot quit Nigeria. Nestle, from what he told me.
No, that's not the point I'm making.
From what he told me, Nigeria is a key, in fact, if not the second best of their, where they generate their revenue or whatever, from what he told me. If not the second, will be the third.
I don't think
So
so.
Nigeria is a very,
Larry,
So Carlo,
I don't think so.
They're trying to retain the market share.
Yeah.
And so whatever it is that they pay in taxes does not equate to what they make in the market
No,
share.
no.
Does this make sense?
No, there are two things you guys say. I don't think so. Look, what's the turnover of Nestle compared to what the turnover of Nestle South Africa? I don't think we should. So get the point I'm making, Larry. Why did Nestle come to Nigeria? There's a market in Nigeria, right? Let me give you a good example. You know Nutella, top one, you know Nutella, right? Nutella, the cocoa spread people.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Nutella buys cocoa all across the world, from Nigeria, from South America. They buy cocoa. They have factories. The factories in France, in South America. There is no Nutella factory in Nigeria. They have sales offices. The sales office for Nutella in Africa is in South Africa. The only thing Nigeria gets from Nutella is they buy our cocoa. They don't even have a sales office in Nigeria. They go to South Africa and they do their invoicing in South Africa. They buy the cocoa from here, it's invoiced in South Africa, they make Nutella and it's enjoyed across the world. The manufacturing plant not in Nigeria. If Nigeria, so look at the point of these taxes now. If you make 15% across the board, if you say Nigeria and South Africa will pay 15%, then you've removed the incentive that a low-cost Nigeria has. China became what they are because they offered coastal cities at lower taxes to the foreign guys to come to the coast, set up a factory for manufacturing. If China was paying the same taxes as the US and the EU, nobody would have gone to China in the 1970s. Why would they go? There is no advantage. They will stay in Detroit. They wouldn't go to China. China is now developed. That's what they are trying to stop. The next China. That's the point I'm making. GE came to Calabar. GE, $1 billion in Calabar. Now, why will they come? They can do that same in Portugal. Why would they come to Africa? Because Africa is the same tax as Portugal. That's the point I'm making. It's strategically
Just to add something, Carlo, I think you're looking at the long term.
Correct.
You know, Nigeria is always looking at short term.
I mean, China went long. You have to really look at this thing. When this thing came up, Buhari said no, and I was very proud of him when he said no, because I think he understood where they were going to. But now we're in it, and I'm not blaming the tax people. The tax guys simply adopted the OECD, what OECD has already agreed. So it's not them. But Africa as a whole should have said no. So that Africa becomes a low tax. They can't sanction all of Africa. This same Europeans that you are giving 15%, they've banned palm oil, replaced it with sunflower oil, because palm oil to them is killing the environment, but sunflower oil is not. They're imposing a carbon tax. So if you make any product using carbon means diesel. Diesel is carbon. They will tax you when you enter Europe. Why? Market access. It has nothing to do with environments. Market access. But we're falling into that trap. So that's the beside. Let's go to one thing in the tax policy, Idris, that I think was the pool that a lot of controversy came across, and I think sort of they've resolved it. The sharing of VAT. When this tax law first came off, I think the president had said that he wanted to. Let me give you the background. When we receive VAT is a state income, not a federal income. It's state and local government. It was passed by Abacha. Abacha then said, let the federal government, which is the FIRS back then, the FIRS collects VAT and distributes, but it retains 10% as its cost of collection and distribution. But what they did was that they took VAT and they started to share VAT according to FARC. The same way they share FARC. FARC is shared according to minimum responsibility of state, which is just code for equality, 40%. Then population, 30%. So if you just add minimum responsibility of state and population, you've already crossed 60%. Doesn't make any sense anymore. That means that a state governor just has to be alive and he gets a lot of FARC. That's why you see a lot of states don't care to create any industries. Lagos can build deep sea port, and the VAT is shared across Nigeria. It shouldn't be so. If they built the deep sea port in Lagos, then Lagos should enjoy the VAT 100%. If you want to enjoy your own VAT, build your own industry in your state and you enjoy that too. So VAT was now thrown into the FAC testing. So when President Tinubu came, he said, okay, we're going to redo this whole VAT thing. And we're going to make VAT go back to derivation, which is how it was. Many folks don't understand that in 1970, if you exported goods out through the Western region, you paid tax to the Western region, not Nigeria, not the federal government. You paid your tax to the Western region. So President Tinubu said, let's go back and make VAT derivation. And that's where you saw the uproar. Many people came and said, no, there's an uproar. Now, what they've done is that they've now allocated VAT. It's now going to go, according to this, it's going to be 50% shared equally, a mistake, 20% based on population, okay, and 30% based on derivation. Which means that if I have a phone and I make a phone call on MTN, 30% of the tax that is generated will come to where I made the phone call from. 20% will go to population. So wherever I make the phone call, Lagos and Kano are going to get the bulk of 20%, wherever I make the phone call. And 50% will be shared equally. Idris, what's your take on this? Did we miss the mark to reform VAT and make it a consumption tax that would have spurred the states to focus more on? What's your take on this?
Well, truly, you see, one thing that let me give you a kind of background to what brought about this VAT issue. Like you rightly said, VAT is supposed to be a state tax, and which was now given to FRS to be for uniformity and some other things like that for administrative purpose, because many of the states don't have the technical capability to be able to handle collection of VAT. Now, there was some year ago, I think like 2014 or something, the Attorney General of Rivers State went to court to go and fight and say that VAT is not a federal revenue. It's supposed to be collected by the state. And they went to court and they won. Lagos State followed suit. And the implication of that is that if by the virtue of that court judgment, Rivers State is supposed to be collecting VAT that is derived from their place directly for themselves. In other words, whatever they collect, their state will be 100%. Lagos State followed suit and wanted to do the same, but it was killed by the father of Lagos State, because he has an ambition. It was killed. And why was it killed? It was killed because he knew when that matter gets to that level, they are going to use it against him when they go for the election. Now, it was that same thing that he now wanted to use in the tax reform, do it in a subtle way, so that instead of saying let every state get 100% of what comes from them, let's revise it in such a way that people that generate this VAT will get something significant while they will still share with others. But of course, the other people that are not really contributed anything significant, they seriously went against it, and it was war. Now, what would have happened if that has passed is that very few states will be so rich, while many states will be so poor. But it like you rightly said, it will spur them to begin to do things that will make their states to be viable, and for them to be able to generate VAT. It will force them to do it. But the Nigerian politicians are very lazy. They don't want anything that will give them any inconvenience. So as a result of that, they stood against it and said no. As a matter of fact, all the uproar you had about the tax law is only because of that. It's only because of that. And of course, he stood his ground. and say, go and discuss it and propose what you want us to do. So we missed that opportunity, as you rightly said.
So it's
But
still,
you know it's politics.
so it's back to 30% derivation. So it's
No, it's not back to the same thing that they used to have. Oh.
no, it's better now, but it's 30%. I think the original was 60% derivation. That's what I understand. The original
Exactly.
one.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are correct.
All right. So is that a good? So it's better than where we started from, more or less.
Yes, far better, yes.
Okay. Talk to me about wages. There's this thing I see here about if the company pays its workers. So the law says if you earn about, let's say 67,000 a month, 7,000 a month, you don't pay any taxes. If your company then pays you up to 100,000, the company can claim a relief that they are paying you 100,000 a month. So are you aware of that provision, Professor?
Sorry, can you give me like 5 minutes? I need to quickly attend something. I'll get back to you.
Oh, that is
Just 5
fine.
minutes.
Not a problem. Yeah. So I'm just reading there that you can earn 800,000 a year, which is going to be about 67,000 a month, and then your company can pay you extra to make it 100,000. So, but what I'm not sure of is if when you earn that 100,000, if you are going to be taxed on the extra that your company has paid you. Not also very, very clear on that. Then let's come also to this taxes on the police tertiary fund and all that. In the past, the Nigerian government, you pay, this is a very dicey one, you pay tertiary, TET fund taxes, you pay police trust fund taxes, you pay NITDA taxes, and you pay NASENI. NASENI is National Agency for Science and Engineering. You pay those taxes, all individual taxes, if you're an SME. Now, what the government has done is to remove those taxes and replace them with a 4% across the board. So if you're an SME, a limited liability company, a PLC, and you are going to pay these taxes, but you're only going to pay 4% development levy. So what's the good part? The good part is that they've reduced the amount of taxes that you're going to pay. The number that you're going to pay is just now 4% development levy. The bad part is that it's now a complete bucket tax. So if you didn't qualify to pay NASENI taxes before, now you're going to pay those taxes today because now you're going to fall into that 4% bucket. So every company in Nigeria now is going to pay that 4% development levy. That's just what's in that scheme. Let me talk about this last one, guys. Very, very important. Agriculture. Very, very important. If you are doing agriculture, you are doing husbandry, you are doing cattle farming, literally anything to do with agriculture, you will not pay taxes for 5 years. That's it. No taxes for you for the first 5 years. So if you want to go into agriculture, next year is going to be a fantastic year for you to start. Any profit you make are yours to keep for 5 years. You will not pay any tax if you're in animal feed, agriculture, or you are in that value chain. So good one, I would say, to encourage lots of folks to go farming. Ibrahim, what's on your mind, man? Hit me.
Hello, sir.
How you doing today, bro?
I'm fine, sir. How far?
I'm doing well, Ibrahim. We were talking about taxes. We've talked about personal exemptions. We've talked about what you're going to pay. What's your mind? What do you want to find out?
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk on this tax reform law. Recommended or amended by the current administration. So I had one expert talk about it for the past 6 months ago. As you say now, they suspend agricultural products and the domestic, some of the domestic productive that we produce here in Nigeria. They suspend the tax for them for the initial years, meaning for the starting years. So I want to ask you two questions, so that maybe I don't know whether you can
you can give me the answer on
We'll,
that.
we'll try.
First question.
I have a resident. Larry is still here. If he's back, he can also assist. Yeah, but go ahead.
My first question as a student or as a graduate, I'm doing what you call this registration services like issuing SIM card, Itel, MT, and whatever. For the past two to 3 weeks ago, they need national identity management. They suspend the service for technical maintenance, which after they restore the service, they bring another issues that anybody who is going to be registered national ID card who is abroad or VVN, he must be charged with some token, some amount of token, like 50 USS dollars, equivalent to 80,000 Nigerian money. So, what is it that that their charges is included in the tax reform law?
I don't think I got that question. Like, did you get the question?
I think it's not very clear.
Let me clear. I say national identity management, NIN, and the CVN, they bring a law that, and if you want to register VVN number or national ID card, if you are not living in Nigeria, you want to obtain this VVN or national ID card of Nigeria, before they allowed you to get that, they must charge you 50 USS dollars.
Oh, I see.
Equivalent to 80,000 naira.
Yeah. So okay, well,
Is that among the tax reform law?
Oh no, it's not. It's not. It's just they want to do BVN for you. I think the $50 is for processing outside Nigeria. So if you live outside Nigeria, they're charging you $50 to process the BVN for you. Yeah.
And the second question again. How many is this tax reform they added? Why even now in the banks, they are, if you want to use USSD, they will charge you from your charge card instead of charging you from the balance inside your bank. Now before you enter the bank, they must charge you 6 naira, which is it among the value-added tax?
No, it's not. But let me explain. They're charging you 6 naira for what?
For process to access your account.
Wow.
If you want to enter your account through SSD now, you dial their numbers before they allow you to enter the bank. On the banks, they must charge you 6 naira from your airtime.
I see. Yeah, I don't know too much about that. I don't. It's not part of the tax law. That I can tell. It's not part of the tax law. Just to be clear.
No, it's not.
It's not. That's just your bank.
Those are levies being charged by NCC and all those people. That has nothing to do with the tax law.
So
yeah,
is it not among the tax? Is another thing, ba?
No, yeah, it's another thing. Yeah, it's not among the tax reform. Yeah, you're right. It's not among.
So then the last question, please, can you elaborate and shed more light about the import and the benefit of this tax when they gather the money? We are not seeing what they are doing with the money.
And they
do that.
That's a different space entirely. Like the efficiency of government, that's a different space we can have on how well the government spends the tax revenues. Clearly our tax to GDP was very, very low. We have to increase taxes, make our taxes more modern. We get that. But I think more people will pay taxes if they can see what's happening with the taxes. If we see our roads, we see water, we see bridges, more people will pay taxes easier than what we're doing. So I get the point you're making. It's just, I wish we could be more transparent. If you live abroad, they'll show you where your tax is going to. This tax you are paying has gone to this road, has gone to this account. You will see it. So it's easier for you to pay. But, like I said, you're very correct. I wish we can be more transparent in how we spend government money. That would help a lot.
Yes, Mr. Right. Kalu, here in the north, people have been intimidated that they are going to pay their houses tax. Maybe meaning that government one is will come the door by door collecting tax from them as their household. So we don't know that thing is included in the tax reform, because people are saying even if the tax officer come to them, they will fight it because they will not give their money to government, which they are not utilize the money.
Yeah.
You know, before in the olden days, the kings and the whatever they do that.
Ibrahim, let me just leave you. Ibrahim, let me leave you this, Ibrahim, right? Just a quick one. Tell your people, right, if you earn 800,000 and below, you don't pay any tax, any income tax. 800,000. That means if they earn about, in a month, 67,000, they won't pay any taxes. Maybe that will help them. Ibrahim, yeah? But we gotta go. So yes, just say 800. If you earn 800,000, no taxes. Yeah.
Maybe I should just say something here. See, Ibrahim, one thing you should know is this. See, a lot of people who don't even understand what the tax law says are just they are just paranoid unnecessarily, because they have been deceived. They are deceived by politicians that did not want the tax law to pass, because it's going to affect them because they are rich. They don't want it to affect them.
Yes.
So they are passing misinformation that this all the things that the law did not say, they are carrying around. Let me tell you, this tax law is pro-poor and anti-rich. It's pro-poor and anti-rich. It's designed to make poor people to pay little or nothing out of income that comes to them, and for rich people to pay more than what they are paying now.
Okay.
That's why they are crying.
Okay.
That's why they are crying and shouting and saying, no, we no go agree. See, if that thing pays them, you will never hear them say, pay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Real quick, Ibrahim, thanks. I appreciate your on the street comments. I really do. So thank you for that. I really appreciate your on the street comments. So just make sure the facts are there for you. It's going to really help you a lot. Honey Badger, what's on your mind, Honey Badger?
Thank you so much, Carlo. Good afternoon, everyone.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I have two questions. One, I heard you speaking earlier, talking about maybe we missed an opportunity to really revert the tax system to what it should be. That VAT should go to states.
Yeah.
So my first question will be, do you still think we have an opportunity for this government, for the government of the day, to still pull something out of the pocket maybe in another year and say we want to, elaborate on this and try to push for that to be the final goal? Or do we have to sort of wait for another government?
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I can answer that.
It's not possible.
Yeah, if you look back, right, when this tax law was passed, this is tweet I was very, very mad. I did a tweet. I was very, very mad because I felt that the president did not really roll it out in a way that allowed him to negotiate. When you want to pass a very, very controversial bill, like the PIB bill, that's why it wasn't passed. The petroleum industry bill wasn't passed for years. If there are vested interests, you want to be very, very careful how you roll out vested interests and take it out. We didn't do that initially. So we had to go, but the bill had to go back to drawing board and they started all over again. And you can see the result is the 50% back to equality. So there is no way you are going to go back and do this again. It's done.
Sorry, Carlo, I disagree with you on this. I disagree with you. And see, one thing you should know is this. I listened to Taiwo very well. He's the man at the eye of the storm on this matter. This same argument you made, people made it. He said, no, it's not true. Before that thing was brought to the limelight like that, that tax reform, all the stakeholders, they engaged them. Those guys were not ready to, they didn't even want to hear anything about it. And they went to them, they spoke with
I'm not sure I can.
strategy that have to be adopted is throw it up, throw it out. and let there be nothing. When there's noise about it, then we are going to come up and educate people on the benefit of this reform. So when they throw it out, and they began to make noise and all that, no, you cannot get. Then they began to educate people, going, engaging openly now. They have been doing it secretly before, but they didn't want to listen. If they had not come to the open, that this bill will never see the light of the day in the next 8 years.
Yeah, but
so
again,
the strategy
I hear you. I hear you.
Let
But
there be none.
okay, I hear you. But what has the strategy given us? 30% derivation. What was it before this? What was it before this? What was it?
Before now, the derivation was 20%, I suppose.
So we got 10%.
Yeah.
So that's the point I'm making. But so
I understand.
if you want to
get that 10% was warfare.
I hear you, but I hear you, and you see, we're both right. You know, again, PIB was passed because in the end, oil prices were falling. We had to go and pass it. Same thing with this one. Mm-hmm. If the president says he has this much power, you know, everybody says he has power, blah, 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 then I think we should have gotten a better deal from this. That's where I'm going to. Adding 10% on derivation, then 50% is still there on equality. Then you still have your 20% on population. So 70% is still based on non-derivative income generative activities on the state. So states are still going to be just sitting back and enjoying VAT. Lagos State can do airport, can do deep sea port. It's not going to get about 70% in bulk. Those things will be shared out by population and the rest. That's just where I'm going to.
I agree with you. But you see, you need to understand that the Nigerian politics is very complicated.
Okay.
While the president wants to close his eyes and insist this is what I want, but at the end of the day, he's a politician.
I understand. So, okay, let's get into ask the second question.
Sorry, sir. And besides that, you know, this VAT is not the only gains of this reform. Remember, 300,000 was the minimum, exempted income before now. But it has gone from 300,000 to 800,000 now.
Yeah, but we're talking about VAT. But we're talking about VAT. So I get the point. Like I said, we're both right. The point is we've added 10% to it. That's fine. It's better than zero. He had a second question. Banga had a second question.
Okay, yeah. So my second question is, you said earlier that there will be a 5 years tax break for people who want to go in agriculture. Mm-hmm. And that is for starting from next year.
Yeah, the tax law starts next year, yeah.
Oh, so what becomes of people who are already in agriculture? Like I have some friends who have, and they actually just started this year. Some of them have not even gotten their first harvest, and these are people who are planning a massive agriculture. Some of them
they will enjoy for
as much as 3,000 hectares of land. So it's something they are planning to do big. So. Is there going to be something in retrospect for them?
No, see, this is a law, so you can't. It's hard to change a law, you know. So I would just say it's 5 years. Whenever they start to file their books, they're going to have 5 years from next year when they start. No, don't pay 0%.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And besides that, we are not saying the law is not saying that it's your revenue that will be taxed. If you don't make profits, you won't pay tax. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
So it's not the revenue they are talking about now. They're talking about, did you make profits?
There's a new.
So
there's a new.
Your book has to show that you're making profit before you're taxed.
Ordinarily, you pay tax not on revenue but on profit.
No, it's on your profit. If you don't make profit, you don't pay tax. It's as simple as that.
Awesome. Thank
you. There's something called minimum tax that they've inserted now. So essentially, there's a minimum tax in there now that sort of going to hook you, and they say whatever you say, there's going to be a minimum tax that might be assessed on you, more or less. Yeah.
No, minimum tax have always been there. They have different ways of ascertaining the tax that they are going to pay, but people still make laws. And they set up that loss over a period of years and all that. Those are technical matters and all that tax people deal with. There are companies that make loss, and they can't tell them to pay tax when they make loss.
Gotcha.
But there are some conditions that lead to minimum tax and all that.
All right. So, Ibrahim, somebody sent me a DM just to explain to you that 9 naira, Ibrahim. So, it said that charge is because of the bank. So, that USSD you are paying is basically going directly to the network providers, right? Because I think the banks and the network guys are fighting over this USSD.
Okay, yes, I get it now, I remember.
So that's what's going on, Ibrahim. So the charge is because the banks are not remitting that charge to the USSD guys. So USSD guys are coming direct to charge you for it. That's what's going on, if that makes sense to you.
Okay.
Yeah, the MTN and the banks are are fighting over this. So the MTN guys just say, okay, hey, we're going to charge you directly. So you go through us, you pay us, then you can access your bank account more or less. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Okay, yes. Because so many banks now are sending messages to the customer that they are no longer charging them from the account. They will charge them from the airtime.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they said. They sent that message.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, excellent. So I have on that DM here. Just to clarify, let me see what it say. Just to clarify on the 800,000. So if I earn 900,000, I will pay. Yeah, so correct. If you earn 900,000, then the 100,000 is what's going to be assessed for taxation. That's going to be your assessed income, not the 800. So the 800 is tax free. From that 800, you then fall into what we call the bracket. Remember, it's not a direct thing. It's not you won't say because you earn 2 million, you pay 15%. No, it's a marginal. The amount over that income level is what is taxed. So you do like a waterfall table. 800,000, it falls to the next bucket. You tax at that bucket, it falls to the next bucket, like so till your income is extinguished. But yes, if you earn about 25 million, you are looking at a potential tax, just raw tax number of about 25%. I get that. Let's see. Modesto, hi. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon.
How you doing, sir?
I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm
yes, sir.
Enjoying your this thing. I want to ask a macro question. Is there what are the projected revenue in terms of the numbers for this tax reform?
Ooh.
Or is it just that, okay, we want to do a reform for reform's sake? Is there anything that you can say, okay, like any portion of this revenue has been ring-fenced for this kind of projects or this form of revenue?
Mr. Modesto, you're showing your hand. Yeah. Well, Nigeria doesn't ring fence. We don't ring fence in Nigeria, sir. We don't ring fence revenues, right? So if you look at the budget, sir, and I'm just making a joke there. If you look at the budget, we have nothing ring fenced. What we call first line charge is what you're talking about ring fencing. What is on the first line charge? National Assembly and Judiciary and the rest. But we don't ring fence projects per se. I think when we had the NIPP, yes, we did something like that. But we had to refund the money. Remember, Obasanjo took money and built primary health care centers. They had to be refunded. Even the NIPP, Obasanjo ring-fenced and took money out. He had to give the states what's called share ownerships for the money he took out. So, like unlike the US, where we can say Social Security is going to have this, or in the UK, we say 25% of the monies are going to go for NHS. We don't do that in Nigeria. It's a budget line item where we say if we earn revenues, it's basically going to spend.
One of the things, the other one was your previous discussion, we're talking about conversations.
Yeah.
If you want to have conversations, about something like tax, if you sell it that this thing is for you, then people will be willing to pay. But if you sell it as if it is for them, then it becomes difficult for you to say, okay, why am I paying? What is going to change? Let's say by next year, if all of us are alive and we've forgotten about this tax reform, would there be a marked change that people will feel and say, okay, this is the reason why the outcome of this tax reform? How do we benchmark? How do we measure it? How can we say, well, the tax reform has been productive? Is it going to uplift the people? Their well-being. Is it going to put in more health care? Is it going to put in more reinforced issue of empowerment? What is
Great
it?
question.
We need to see.
And let's go back to the DNA of Nigeria. the DNA of Nigeria in our constitution states that any incomes we get has got to be distributed. So we don't have savings in our constitution. We have spending. We have money comes in. It should be distributed. When we try to save, we run up against the clock. But look, let me answer your question directly, sir. It will be helpful if these revenues are going to go up. Nigeria's revenues are going to go up from 2026 because this tax bill is going to simplify and create, sort of broaden the tax bracket. So revenues are going to go up. Already, the largest contributor of taxes in Nigeria are corporate income taxes. Then VAT. VAT is going to go up. Corporate income tax is going to go up. Even customs, they've removed customs' ability to collect taxes. So the guy that's going to collect your tax are no longer going to be the customs officers. They will just do enforcement. The revenues are going to be collected by the Nigerian Revenue Service, which are more professional. So they can understand what rice or what all these other things are, and they can tax appropriately. So taxes are going to go up. My fear is what we will spend that new income on. That's just my fear.
Yeah, Kali, you're having too much optimism. I don't have too much optimism because whoever that is going to collect it, you need to factor in where is the point of collection? How is it going to be managed?
True.
Is it a situation whereby you turn up at the port and the person from FIRI says, actually, I'm in charge, but then there's some customer base that will say you are just a kid. We run this place. Is it going to? What are the loopholes?
Let me tell Mr. Master. If you compare Nigeria's tax collection and even the US, you'll be shocked. Nigeria is far ahead in the framework that we have. We have a treasury single account. We have monies that are coming and are coded. We have all that. The problem, sir, is the spending of that money. Nigeria is more organized in how we are able to say money should come into this account. The wahala is when the money enters that account, what happens to it? It goes for salaries. This is not even without corruption. Salaries, pensions, allowances eat up everything. So I completely get the question you're asking. The point I'm just making is that if we don't spend properly, the whole tax thing is going to be a waste. If the revenues go up by 100% and spending goes up by 200%, we're back to square one. That's the point I'm making. We are back to square one. We've got to put a cap on spending and take these new revenues into health, education, infrastructure, so that we can then create more tax revenues down the line. You're asking great questions, sir. But the president is a tax man. That's why we have a great tax bill. This is a very, very good tax bill, guys. Don't even joke.
I'm not saying that it's not a very good one. It's just that sometimes I still find it very, very difficult because I know what usually happens. The fees that you pay, are they going to go away?
Which
the
fees?
Middlemen, are they going to go away?
Let me give an example about the fees. When you drive on the truck from, say, Lagos to, say, Onitsha, you see these local government guys down the road collecting money, collecting money from you. Sticker boys, you call them sticker boys. Okay, this is what I heard Mr. Taiwo say. I haven't seen it operational, but this is what I heard Mr. Taiwo say. They took 10% of their revenues and gave to the states and local government to compensate them. In return, what Mr. Taiwo has said is that if you go on the road and the sticker boys in local government say you should pay, he said, go ahead and pay. When you pay, bring the sticker to us. We will refund you your money, the money you paid. We will refund it to you, but we will debit the account of the state that charged you. So what are they trying to do? If you go to Delta and you pay, local government in Delta, you pay those sticker boys. You pay, you take the stickers to the Nigerian Revenue Service. Nigerian Revenue Service to refund you what you pay to the local government. Then we'll go to Delta state account and debit that account for what they refunded you. If they do it two or three times, it will stop because now the state will now go and tell those guys.
They will not give you sticker.
Exactly. They don't give you sticker. How will you pay? They give you. No, they will. They give you. No. It's not true. It's not true. If you don't give sticker, the drivers not pay because they know that if they don't pay, if they pay here, they will pay in 10 minutes ahead. They collect the sticker to tell their friends that, listen, I've paid, don't ask me again. So they have to give that sticker. Without sticker, then you say you've paid now. So it's counterproductive.
Let's hope that they do.
Amen.
That they don't manufacture their own sticker.
Amen.
We've seen so many stuff in that country.
Amen.
We've seen somebody who will be at the toll gate, but the whole receipt he sold doesn't go to anywhere. It's his own receipt.
You are right. And again,
What if I may say something on that?
You're right. Real quick, Larry, go ahead. Larry, go ahead.
Now, what I want to say on that is this. See, what Taiwo said on that matter is, it doesn't matter whether that receipt is fake or original. As long as it's carrying what's it called? The name of that local government. What they are trying to address is that by the time they are deducting their money from federal government, they will begin to catch all those boys who are printing the receipts.
Correct.
And whoever they send to the streets that is going to collect money, they will carry all of them, because it's going to be reducing their revenue at the end of the day. So what they are saying is that all those guys tame them. It's either you tame them or you pay for
exactly.
them.
So it's a very, very smart thing. It's a very smart thing. And again, Mr. Modeste, and the law says that taxpayers should make every effort to use electronic tax payment schemes. I've forgotten where the exact word is, but what I'm trying to say is this. If you are paying tax to the Nigerian Revenue Service, look for any way possible to make that payment electronic, even if it means you buying it. So they don't want you to pay cash. They want you to set up in such a way that you can remit electronically to the tax authority. And they're doing it on purpose, so that they want to make sure that there is no cash here, cash there. No. If it's electronic, the money is coming in, it's easier to track. So just want to put that point there. But great point, sir. Let me get Chuka. Chuka, hi, how you doing?
I'm great, Mr. Carlo. Good evening. I'm trying to catch you.
Oh, really?
Your DM is like a visa office.
No, sir. Just send me a DM. I'll answer. What's up?
I'm in your DM, actually.
Okay.
Anyway, I heard what you said. That's what made me came up.
Mm-hmm.
What you said about how even when I make a call, let's say I live in Enugu or I live in Abuja, and I come to Lagos, I visit Lagos, and I make calls from Lagos. You said that the tax, the revenue is calculated as though it's made in Lagos, right? So it's attributed to Lagos. How is the calculation made? Is it made by how MTN, let's say I'm using MTN service, is it made by how MTN do their books and report their earnings? Or is there a way NEC, NEC, or NERC checks it from their own? Who actually gets to see this data? Are we at that advanced?
Great question. It's a very, very simple way if you look at it this way. So let's look at it before the tax law. If you make your calls anywhere in Nigeria, it's immaterial because MTN is headquartered in Lagos. So when you pay VAT, if you call in Ibrahim's location, maybe you call in Kano or you call in Enugu or you call in Ibadan, MTN is in Lagos. So MTN will file that VAT in Lagos. So that goes to Lagos State's IGR. No, not IGR. It goes to their FIRS remittance for VAT. What they've done is that they've broken VAT into three categories, right? Number one, 50% will be shared equally, 50%. 20% will be shared based on population. So 20% based on population. Number three, 30% is now based on the derivation. You see, on derivation. So if you make your call let's say you are from Nnewi, you go to Jos, and you make a call in Jos, 100 naira. 50 naira will go to all states in Nigeria. All states will share 50 naira. 20% will go to states in Nigeria based on population. So Lagos, Kano, all those populations will get and share the higher proportion of 20%. After then, what happens? That 30% is now going to go to where you made the call. So if you made the call in Jos gets that 30% because it's cell site, cell tower. So they can easily tell where you made the call from. Cell tower, you see?
So you believe that they actually take that much detail, even from the cell tower.
It's already on the cell tower. Yeah, it's already there. Where did the call originate from? Its tech is already there. It's the exact same. That's the easy part. The hard part is actually sharing the money. The easy part is you call through a cell tower. You call through, yeah. So they can just tell where did this call. Where is your? They don't care where you are located. Where are you making the call? So look at it this way: if a state governor wants to be smart, right? This 30 December you are having. If you can attract people to come to your state for the month of December and eat and spend and make calls to abroad, make video calls, your December income can compensate for 11 months of income because people are making those calls in your state. So if I was a governor, I'll put cell sites in all local governments, all counties in my state. So that people can make calls, video calls easy. That's where the revenue is from. All those calls. I'll put them all over. So I can capture. The word is this. Capture commerce. If you capture commerce, then you
Activities.
can... Correct. So it's not just building flyover. If the flyover is not capturing commerce, it's a waste. But the flyovers attract more people because there's less traffic. So whoever can capture commerce is who is going to win this new race in Nigeria. It's not like say it's 30%, but it's up there for you to go and grab. Lagos State.
Cell towers. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go for it.
About the cell towers, is it really something a governor can undertake as a project? Is it not left to the networks?
No, the cell towers. The Cell Tower Association says that they pay almost 66 taxes when they go to states to set up to do business. Imagine if a state governor comes and says that I hereby, the state and local government says that we hereby abolish every form of taxes on cell tower. You will not pay a kobo. And if you pay a kobo, report the person. Where do you think MTN and Airtel will go and build towers next? There.
Where they pay less tax.
And then they now even say if you do solar panels, we'll give you the land. You can do incentives and attract lots of cell towers to your place. And there we folks in December, all these video people are taking video. They will rush there, do the calls there, calling abroad. Look at it this way. They have lots of English-speaking folks that are unemployed, that are young in your state. What do? You set up a call center in your state, in the local government. You employ all these girls, all these boys in a call center. They make the calls from there. So instead of Lagos is expensive because rent there is more expensive. You go to Lagos, all these Lagos banks say, we'll do your call center in Abakaliki local government area or in Jos Katagum local government area. In the local government where it is cheaper. Solar powered cell centers. The same English language you are speaking. The same Hausa, the same Yoruba, the same Birom. But you are doing it in local government area and you are attracting revenues from the cell towers. MTN themselves will come there because they can then do that same call center at a lower cost base out of the major centers of Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja. That's how they want governors to think. Not to sit down and wait for FARC. To think around how you can... Now, Tinubu has teed you up. If you generate VAT, you keep 30%. He has teed it up for you. So go get it.
I didn't know this, and it's surprising because we have talked about this a lot of times when we're having public conversations about how the network service, the strength of the signals in the networks in the states, some of the states like Southeast and even the northern part of Nigeria are very low. The signals are very weak, and the excuse is that there is not enough revenue. But I never really saw this angle of incentivizing the installation of more cell towers to increase the strength of the signals.
And to increase commerce. I wrote an article a long time ago. Arugungu Fishing Festival has been happening in Arugungu for decades. It was international. MTN was sponsoring it. You go, it's on a stamp, for crying out loud. A few years ago, we stopped it. It's a long story. All these festivals we have in Nigeria, the one that they have the one that is very, very colorful that they have in Ogun State, the one with the horses and all that. If you put cell towers there, you put video, you put all this, people will make more calls, share more videos, you get more revenues in that location. So a smart local government chairman can go and say, hey, MTN, can you guys give me, or go and meet the guys at the IRC, the one that do the towers. I will give you guys free tower locations, no payment. So if you put the towers there, more calls, more videos happen there. What next? The tech boys will come there because they are digital nomads in Nigeria. They can come and live in Jos or live in Abeokuta, which is cheaper. Now we have Starlink. So you don't need to be in Lagos or Abuja where you have fast. You can be anywhere and have fast internet. You get it and then you do it. So, the thing with Nigeria is that the good stories are covered up by this nonsense we talk about on Twitter and all that. We have to talk about the good parts so folks can take it and then run with it and create economic activity. The word again is capture. You capture commerce, you make more IGR. That's just the word. Great one, Chuka. Chuka, yeah, if we can do something, not a problem. We can do something going forward, yeah? All right, Oxley Tech. How you doing? We're going to we've been here for about 15 minutes and we'll call it a day. My taxi has dropped off. Oxley, go ahead.
Yes, I'm here, Paulo.
How you doing,
Paulo,
sir?
Thank you for this opportunity. So this tax conversation, is
my tax.
Can you hear me, Paulo?
I can hear you very well, sir. Go for it.
All right. So the way this conversation is going, I am looking at, particularly the VAT side, I'm looking at the applicability of the deal in the way the resources will be shared. Currently, I do not believe, or I do not think that the data that the companies that are heavy on this consumption, when I'm talking of the telcos, I'm talking of the Dangotes, I'm talking of, there are companies that their head office are mostly in Lagos, but those their goods are distributed across the country. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. For example, let's take the telcos, for instance. If you go on a bank app or a vendor on the streets and recharge 5,000 naira airtime, that is where VAT starts from. I don't think somebody in FIRS will go and ask MTN, please give us your call log. Let us see how calls are made all over the country.
No, but when you buy the call log, there's no activity. You've not done any activity. When you put money in the bank, you've not done any activity. You haven't done any calls.
What I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you go to a vendor and buy an airtime of 5,000, or you go to your bank app and recharge an airtime of 5,000, the VAT is inside that 5K.
Yeah, but
if you look at the bank's books, if you look at MTN books, you will see outpay face value minus VAT. Maybe what you recharge, if you look at their bank's book, the MTN book, you will see maybe what you recharge is 4,700 and something. The VAT component of it is 300. So that is where the attention should be. It's not necessarily whether you made all the calls. You recharge the 5,000 in Akure and you made all the calls in Akure. No, it is at the point of recharge. So where the payload of the transactions are is, for example, most of the airtime recharge, whether it's MTN or Glo, is happening on the bank app. It's happening on the bank app. So how is the bank representing those recharge? Whether it's a quick teller or remitter, or you are using all this fintech app to recharge. How is it? How do you know by that recharge? How do you allocate it to where the person is located? Because I don't think FRS will go out there, will go to the takers and say, oh, show us the consumption of people that make call in Maiduguri. Show us the call of no. So these things are really, 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 really difficult. At the end of the day, the telcos or maybe will try to provide some sort of data, but it will not be actual. It won't even be close to how the consumptions are happening. So that is why if you look at the VAT, most of the VAT are in Lagos, and the way they are apportioning it to other states in the country, I don't think it's going to be transparent. I don't think that the tax authority.
Okay. Give us a chance to respond. Give us a chance to respond, right? So I think you've made your point. Okay, so look at it this way, sir. If you want to make bread, you are buying sugar, you are buying flour, you are buying butter. All are transactions. If you buy a recharge card, it's a transaction. If you make a call, is that a transaction? If I make a call, am I making a transaction? Or it's just a recharge card? Are you saying that when I make a call, it's not a transaction? If I use my data on my phone, is that a transaction? Or it's only when I recharge my card? Where is the transaction? I'm not an IT guy, but tell me.
The point is, if you recharge a data, if you make a data plan of, let's say, 20,000 naira, at the point of making that data plan, the VAT is already inside that 20K.
Okay, so let's pause there. Oxley, calm down. Slow down. Yeah. So what have we said? We said capture. So if in Nnewi, people come to Nnewi and are enjoying themselves and are buying the cards in Nnewi, is captured in Nnewi, correct? Let's assume there's no cell tower. They're going to still buy the recharge card in Nnewi. Is that correct?
Yes, in a way. But Paulo, the way I want you to look at it. Remember, all of us go to GT app, Zenith Bank app to recharge this airtime. You will remember, it is until recently, GT Bank, for instance, there was a time GT Bank text message will always carry
Oxley, the law, I'm reading the quote to you, 30% based on place of consumption. That's the word in place of consumption, where it is consumed. So the term is, where is it consumed? If I make a call in Nnewi, but I bought from my bank app, where has that service been consumed? I'm not a tech guy. Where do you think it has been consumed?
So if you are in FIRS and you want to now go and seek that data, let's say for the month of July, you want to get the data VAT of month of July, and the inspection team in FIRS goes to MTN. Please give us the data of how consumption happened at the. How do you think MTN would go about doing that?
They would look at the cell. They'll look at the cell data for the calls and give it to the NCC. Why would they pick which is easier for them, where the cell data occurred or where we buy phone calls on Go Slow? How will they know you bought that card on the Go Slow? Which Go Slow? How will they know where that card was scratched? It's where your phone linked to the cell tower to load the card or your data card. That's where they will know now. If I'm in Lagos, Oxley, if I'm in Lagos and my sister is in Nnewi, she says, please, I don't have recharge card, buy me a recharge card. So I buy her recharge card in Lagos and I send to her and she loads that recharge card in Nnewi. Where has the consumption happened?
That is where you do a recharge. I'm saying.
No, I'm asking you a question. I don't know. I'm asking you the question. Where would it?
In answering that, today 90% of recharges happen on the bank app or fintech app. Nobody is.
Also, you're not answering the question. I don't want you to see. I want you to reduce your audio. Let's learn together. I'm asking a question to you. If I send my sister in Ohafia recharge card, right? And I buy it in Lagos, she loads it in Ohafia. Where has the consumption happened, Lagos or Ohafia? What do you think?
It's clearly Ohafia. If the recharge is loaded in Ohafia.
Okay, so someone wanted to make a point. Modesty, what
I also want you to address is.
Oxley, I'm not arguing. No, I am learning. I'm just saying I've read for you 30% on place of consumption. What the law has said. I'm not saying it's in Lagos or I'm trying to learn as well. This space is for us to learn. And all I know is that capturing the transaction means you win. That's what I know. If a state governor or local government area can capture consumption, then they get more taxes. That's what I know. Modest will hop in here.
Do they have the mechanism to be able
But that's for the state governor to do. It's easy for MTN to pull out a report per cell tower, per local government, per state. It's a 1 second query and the system can spit it out. What has been the calls in Ohafia, in Abia State? They can spit it out for you. With that cell tower, they then go back to their total revenue and say, okay, we're going to share the total revenue 50% to all 36 state and federal government. They share 50%. We now have 50% more. We're going to share this 50% 30% based on where the cell tower reported a consumption happened. That's what they're going to do. So it's just collect the data and they do maths. I'm not arguing if it's Lagos or Hafia. I am saying that the law says where the consumption happened. So if we say that consumption is when the card was recharged, so be it. That's what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not a tech guy. But Modesty wants to speak. Modesty, real quick, go for it.
I want to talk to you about that. The only thing that I understand what Ashley is talking about is talking about that the VAT has been paid in Lagos. So what we're going to go on moving forward is, they say the governor of Abia State has gone to MTN office in Abia State and pull off the data in terms of consumption. And then within that data, you now realize that probably half of them are bought in Lagos and has been attributed to Lagos.
Yeah.
Then they can do a reconciliation to say, okay, even though the MTN recharge card was bought in Lagos and the VAT attributed to Lagos because it was the point of purchase, but the point of consumption is Abia State, because we have the data to show you. Then both FRS officers in both two states will be able to reconcile that.
I think, sir, all honesty, sir, all respect, I think that might be going a bit too far. I think the issue is just, what does FRS term as consumption? Because we asked here, let's give his opinion. I don't know. If we say consumption is where the recharge card is bought, so be it. Then that's what FRS is going to use. They're not going to say reconcile. They're going to say, where was it bought? It was bought in Lagos. Bam. It goes to Lagos. If they say it is where it is used.
The point is that the VAT is paid at the point of purchase.
No, but the law is saying, but that is today. That is today. But tomorrow, the law is saying you will pay the VAT at the point of consumption. That's what the law is saying.
How can you do that?
With the cell towers.
No, forget about it. Let's not look at it as in front of only IT things and all of that. But what about other goods? If I go to Lagos and buy, let's say, 2 trailer loads of clothes and then took it to Onitsha to sell, and I've already paid the VAT to the shop, because the shop owner will say, your cloth value is 5 million naira, the VAT is 1.5 million. And then you pay 6.5 million.
There's VAT is in. No. VAT is in and out, sir. I want to know how. So VAT is in and out. If I go to Lagos and I buy generator, I pay VAT in Lagos. When I bring the generator to Abia, when people buy from me, they pay me VAT. VAT is the final consumer. The final consumer. So I will pay VAT in Lagos. When I come to Abia, they will come to me in Abia and buy the generator. I close out my VAT loop. I don't pay the VAT. The Lagos guy does not pay the VAT. Lagos guy, when he imported the generator from China, he paid VAT at the port. When I came to him from Abia, I paid him VAT. He closed out. He's not paying, he's closed out. When I moved to Abia, they come and buy generator from me in Abia. I close out. The final consumer in Abia is the one paying that bulk of the VAT. The final consumer. VAT is a tax on consumption. The value addition on that sale is what is being paid for, sir. So go back to our phone example. If I buy a recharge card in Lagos and I pay VAT in Lagos, that's fine. But if I then load that card in Nnewi, the VAT in Lagos is closed out. I open up a VAT in Nnewi. I consume that card. So where is the VAT being consumed? Nnewi. VAT is value addition on the final consumer. That's the point I'm making. It's not where you pay the VAT at the beginning that is the final consumer. Everybody we pay import VAT in Nigeria. If Dangote pays import VAT, but once he clears his goods into Nigeria and you buy from him, you are going to pay VAT to Dangote. So he closes his books. He pays in, he pays out, he locks it over. That's the point I'm making, sir. Let's get to.
In conclusion, I think my point is in conclusion that the FIRS now depending on the telco to be able to provide these things.
Of course, the same way banks do, and everybody does. Nigerian Revenue Service always depends on the vendors. How do you pay VAT? Don't they depend on you? If people buy your laptop, you issue VAT form. and you pay VAT. That's how it's done everywhere in the whole world. They're not God. They're not everywhere. The way they've done this is to say, when you pay VAT, it creates a debit. If you don't close that debit to the credit, you pay. So you have to make sure that you collect VAT to close out your books. Otherwise, you pay. That's the whole idea of VAT. That's why VAT is very, very effective. It's the most effective tax, different from the sales tax, because it forces everybody to be compliant. If Dangote imports goods at the port and does not charge VAT, then he pays the VAT. So he wants to charge you VAT so he can get the VAT off his books, off his back, then you pay. If you don't sell those goods, you are the final consumer, you pay. But let's not hog the space. Let's get a few guys in here.
If you don't mind, one more question. Do you think what you just described now, the analysis you've made now shows a little sophisticated system. Do you think that the current agency that collects tax in Nigeria and analyze tax have the capacity to handle this?
Yes, they do, because VAT currently is exactly how to do VAT. The difference was that instead of saying Nnewi, Lagos, Kogi, Kaduna, they've simply gone to the head office where it is being filed. So they'll say MTN, pay your VAT. MTN simply says our revenues are 1 billion. Where did they get that 1 billion from? Where they had okay, look at this. Look at question for you. How does MTN Lagos know the total revenues? Because all the states report to MTN Lagos. So the MTN Lagos accountant to say, all of you report your turnover. Isn't that what happens? Abia will report, Kogi will report, Benue will report. Then he consolidates all those revenues. Then he reports to the FIRS. Now they are saying they won't do that anymore. Kogi will say, FIRS, so in Kogi I have collected 1 million. Take your VAT from Kogi State. There's no longer sending to the head office. It's the same system. All they've done to say 30% is now consumption. So the final consumption, however that is defined, is going to be where you are going to pay your tax. That's all I'm saying. I'm just reading the text of it. And it makes perfect sense. So if you buy cement if you buy cement in Nnewi or you buy cement in Sokoto State, it doesn't matter. Dangote cement is located in Lagos. So you pay that VAT to the accountant of Dangote in Lagos. Now they are saying consumption, which means the Dangote guy in Jos will calculate the consumption in Jos and remit to FIRS Jos. So Jos Plateau State government will then say, okay, let me give a good example. Banks. Zenith Bank would employ workers in wherever you are employed. Your letter of employment comes from HR in Lagos. Abi, wherever you are employed. So if you work for Zenith, your letter of employment came from Lagos. But you are employed in Sokoto. So when they charge your payee, where do they pay to? Payee is even easier because the payee is residence and the rest. But now they're saying if you are consuming in Sokoto, you pay that VAT in Sokoto. But let's get a few guys in here, Chuka. I don't want to hog the space too much. They've gone off. They waited too long. Sorry, but I'm going to add you guys really quick. Honey Badger, you had a question. You had a question. Anyela, I'm going to add you. Sorry, Anyela, I'm just going to add you real quick. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yes. On the conversation you guys are just having, I want to throw a question so that both of you can, let me know where you stand, because I think it's getting clearer. But let me just ask this. I've been in the US for a while, but I still keep my Nigerian number. I still use it. So every 1 or 2 months, I put like 5,000 naira on it and make some calls to Nigeria so my line don't get blocked. Now, where will that VAT be captured? Where will it be remitted?
You are paying somewhere. Where are you paying from?
I recharge through my bank app.
In Nigeria, what bank?
I use a GT Bank.
Where did you open your account?
I open my account in Abuja.
So you will pay in Abuja. That's essentially what it is. Because we couldn't really answer what consumption was. If consumption is where it is, the trade started from Abuja. If it is where the trade is actually consumed, where the loop is closed, and it's going to be wherever your bank is posting that thing to. But they just said they've not really defined, okay, if I buy rice in Kebbi, I pay VAT in Kebbi, but I eat the rice in Abia State. Will I not pay VAT in Abia State because I paid VAT in Kebbi? Of course not. You will pay VAT in Kebbi. When the rice comes to Abia, you will also pay VAT in Abia. The final consumer. Go ahead.
Let me explain this. Let me make it easier for everybody.
Please go ahead, sir.
For instance, let's take Dangote for instance. Now, this VAT is we have input VAT and output VAT. Now, I buy my truck of cement from Dangote. I bring it to Uyo, because I'm in Uyo. Dangote will charge a VAT on that. Now, assuming I buy the cement in Dangote for 10,000, VAT inclusive, Dangote has taken VAT from that account. Now, I'm selling the cement for 15,000. I will add my VAT to sell at 15. So it's an input VAT. What I do is that because I'm buying from Dangote at 10,000, I have an output VAT in that amount. And I'm selling to the users at 15,000, there's an input VAT in that amount. I will net them off. If for example, I'll now do my input VAT and output VAT, I net it. It is the net that I will pay. If I'm buying food, so that's how it works. Now I buy Dangote cement for 10,000. I'm assuming I paid 750 naira. That's the output VAT. Now I'm selling this cement out. The VAT element from my selling price, let's say it's 1,000. I will now do 1,000 input minus 700. I'll pay VAT of 250 naira to federal government. That is what they recognize. So it is at that point of consumption that it is gathered. Dangote does also on his part. Dangote produces everything. He has paid VAT from his end. When the distributor is buying from Dangote, that distributor is also paying VAT. So they are doing input, output at that level also. Dangote will remit his own part too. In that state, he has also gotten. So when I bring the cement to Akwa Ibom, there's a VAT element for me bringing it to Akwa Ibom. When I sell to people in Akwa Ibom, there's also a VAT element. We net it off. I pay the net sum to federal government. That's how it works at the end of the month.
Perfect. It's in and out. The final consumer pays the bulk because he's the final consumptive agent. That's really what VAT is. The final person. Yeah.
Yes, that's how it works.
All right. I appreciate that, Supreme. Thanks so much. Anila, sorry, I think you dropped off. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. How you doing? Please go ahead, sir. What's your question?
Okay, I'm not sure I'm asking a question. I just want to make an input.
Okay.
The other minister I was talking about how will the VAT be charged. Mm-hmm. That if you are buying directly, let's say you are buying airtime directly from an app, you will be charged the VAT directly from the app, ASAP. So let's say you are charging like 1,000 naira Airtel line now. They are going to charge you based on, like, they are going to add you to VAT of that 1,000 naira on it, on that 1,000 naira. So now, when you both were talking, I got confused where you're talking about the fact that they will charge you the VAT at the point of purchase, and they will also charge you VAT at the point of consumption. For me, what I was thinking is that if, let's say, I'm buying a product, let's say like airtime, worth 5,000 naira, and the VAT is 300 naira. Is it not the same 300 naira that the NRS is going to charge by giving 50% to, the 30% is board of contention here to the states of consumption? Is it going to be part of the consuming airtime that I use after paying VAT for purchasing it?
Yeah, it's a good question, because for IT, I don't understand how it's going to work, because if you buy the air charge card,
let me explain it to you.
Go for it. Go ahead.
To you.
Please go ahead. it just me?
I'm not
hearing. Supreme, I'm not hearing you that well.
Card. Because you are buying the recharge card from your app.
I can.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you have an account in Zenith Bank in Abia State, and you are somewhere in Lagos, and you buy a recharge card. You are buying recharge card from your account because you are using your app to buy it. You are buying that recharge card in Abia because you are buying directly from your account. Now, at the place that you buy a recharge card of 1,000 naira from your account, the VAT element in that 1,000 naira is around maybe 7.50 kobo. But the amount the bank is getting is from MTN, that is back end arrangement, is less than that amount. They too, there's a VAT element, so they net it off. Let's say MTN is selling it to that bank at 920 VAT inclusive. So they'll do 0.75 of that 920 and 0.75 of your 1,000. They do plus and minus. The difference is what they file for you for your state. So if you are buying from your app you're in Abuja and your account is open in Lagos, it's Lagos that gets the VAT for the charge card.
So it's where your bank, where you opened your bank account is the consumption. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, please. Apart from those that are buying on the roadside.
Interesting.
If you are buying from your app, it's the resident's account.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Thanks for that clarification. I mean, it goes back to this idea of you have got to be innovative as a state governor. You can't sit on your ass and wait for FAC. If you can capture commerce in your state, you can get the money. That's the takeaway for me. And there are many, many, many ways you can get this done. So yeah, I agree. And let me get, where is she? Blessing, hop in right here. What's up?
Sorry, one. So if you are in the Ministry of Finance of Abia State, you work in their tax department. What kind of skill do you, or what kind of, how do you engage the federal government, the FIRS, to be able to push you, for you to be able to get all the VAT that are due to you? How can they audit, if they have an audit team there, how would they equip themselves to be able to get all these intricacies? I
don't think it's really intricate, honestly. I think once they determine the parameters of the assessment, if they say it is where the bank account is opened, once they say that, it's just to write the program. I don't see what's intricate. The debate is because we don't know how they will determine consumption. Let's assume what Supreme has said, that where you open your bank account is where you are consuming the service. Then it's easy now. They'll write a program and say, if you buy
would it be a case of Zenith Bank has 20 million customer base? Then Abia State government will go to Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank, you go to your customer information database and give us, out of your total 20 million customer base that you have, give us how many of them, these customers, that their account is pointing to Abia State residents.
No. It's wrong. I would say, it would simply be to say MTN. If you have sold a charge card, where did the query for the card come from? Where did the query? Query means what account did it come from? It came from Providence. It came from Z. It came from GTB. You go to GTB. GTB, what account? If you use Zenith Bank, it is just a simple query. What accounts bought this product? It will list the accounts for you and the state of where the accounts were opened and the amounts over 12 months, over 1 day or 30 days. It will give it to you. Simple report. It's very simple report. The same way you go to the bank, you sell cement. You got ₦1 million turnover in your bank account. You want the bank to tell you who paid this money to you. Oh, we got money from Mina. We got money from Sokoto. We got money from Ebonyi. The same thing. You on your bank app, do you see Mina, Sokoto? You don't. You see 1 million. But your accountant wants to know which salesman is responsible for that 1 million. If you have Salesforce app, it will break it down for you. This 1 million is from Mina, it's from Sokoto, it's from Jos. It will break it down for you. So all Abia State needs to get is that report. There will be a report that will be created to say, for this consumption that occurred in Nigeria, Pan Nigeria, These are the queries that came from Abia State. Whatever they define as consumption, if we go with what Supreme has said, if they define consumption as where the bank account is, then it's simple. The bank statement will give it to you. What's the difficulty there?
Yeah.
All right, let's get Blessing. Blessing. Thanks, Oxley. Great questions. Blessing, your hand is up. Go for it. It's Blessings. She's not available. Supreme, was that your country? I know you came up. Did you come up just to speak on the tax, or you had something else?
Oh, nothing. Just for anybody that needs clarification, I'm around to clarify.
All right. We're almost done. We've stayed beyond our 2 hours. Blessing, your hand is up. Go ahead and speak if you want to. Otherwise, we'll start to round it up, take closing comments. I want to thank my tax guy that was here earlier. He's left, but
hello, Mr. Kalu.
Yes, sir.
Can I deviate away from this tax?
It depends if it has to do with money, banking, finance. Sure.
Yes, it has to do with finance. I just want to ask a quick question, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I've been following your discourse about finance, investment, and everything for years now, and I've been doing some research myself too. I was not privy to anything about stock, shares, anything like that before. But I have little knowledge now. Mm-hmm. But there's this thing you post, or maybe you discuss something about shares in Nigeria, and you and this Mr. Additional usually discuss on your platform. So now, let's say I am an artisan and I want to buy shares, I don't have the big millions to buy big, in order for me to call share brokers to, give me the latest share stock market that I can invest money in. Do you think if I have a sure app, because there's a particular app I was introduced to recently, I did my findings and I checked SEC website. I found out that the app is registered to a company that is registered on SEC. So do you think although I've done some I did some fill of information, DOB and every other information I was asked to. Yeah. I don't know if maybe buying shares through those apps.
Yeah, but why?
It's secure for me to.
Yeah, but why are you going far? Ayinla, don't go far, beg. Just buy anyone that is SEC approved. If it's not SEC approved, please don't use them. If it's not SEC approved, Nigeria, don't use them. And the ones that are SEC approved,
this one is actually SEC. Guys, I want to maybe if I'm buying from the app, I'm actually investing.
Yeah, if it's,
I don't want to say I will believe I'm investing through the app, and at the end of the day, I will not find out that I'm just.
So if it's SEC approved, all they are giving you is just the road. Those SEC approved apps are just the road. They don't tell you what to buy. You want to buy US stocks, for instance, you go to that SEC app, you put your money, you buy. They are just the front door to an account in the US. In the US, they have a SEC approved broker that's actually settling your trades. So they're not giving you any you want to buy maybe Tesla. You go to Shaka or you go to Bamboo or you go to Cowrywise and you say you put Tesla. When you click buy, you've placed an order in America with a US broker. This Nigerian app simply have the arrangement with that US broker. That's what's going on. You see? So once you do that, you place it. Yeah. So, but you want to make sure it is SEC approved. If it's not SEC approved, please don't do it. Very, very important. Yeah? Okay, I had a question for you guys. I don't know if you guys can answer. Supreme, you're my tax guy. Somebody is asking, what about stock options? He said, what if I don't collect cash, but I collect stock options? Will I also be taxed? That's what somebody's asking. Oh, he's even here. Yeah. I said it's still compensation. I think the act is saying that whether you collect cash or not, it is deemed as if you collected cash and they will tax you. Does it differ if it's benefit in kind, I mean. Does it differ if I collect raw salary cash or if I collect shares? Does the tax change? Do you know, could Supreme know the answer to that? Or any tax person? Who can answer that?
I don't think there's withholding tax on it. All those share options, all those things is mainly withholding tax. But for me, from my own experience, I didn't pay withholding tax for my shares that I got in January.
But he's talking about like salary. Like instead of him collecting salary, he wants to collect his money in stock options or shares. not cash. So will that still be taxed?
Because it is a salary, your payee is sacrosanct. The payee element is sacrosanct. You have to pay it.
Okay.
And you know, payee is irrespective of where you are. If the head office is in Lagos, like for banks, and you work in Akwa Ibom, for instance, your payee is paid in Akwa Ibom because you are an Akwa Ibom staff.
Okay, so just to answer the question, I think,
so you don't pay it in.
Yeah, no information. Just to answer the question, I think the question you're asking is you're bringing the US in here. I know in the US you have your stock options that are given to you. Depending on the type of stock option, you know how it goes. You can get taxed when you exercise, or you can get taxed when it is issued to you. I don't think Nigeria has those laws yet. But the way the language is stating that, listen, if you earn income and you don't remit to Nigeria, we'll still tax you. I would say that if you receive income, salary, as stock options, to them, they're going to look at it as you received salary. The same way I read somewhere, if you receive a house from your company to live in, that is a benefit in kind, which are going to tax you as if you received income. So I would assume that they would also assume that your stock options are income to you. So you can't hide and say, I'm going to get stock options, not cash, and hence not pay tax on that. There's going to be a best of judgment claim on that income as because you are receiving it. Even if, like in the same way with the guy that's receiving money from China, but not remitting to Nigeria, Nigerian Revenue Service is going to say you received that money and we're going to tax you. I believe it's the same here because you are getting the money, even if it's a stock option. If it's coming as a salary, they will tax you. If it's coming as a stock option, not a salary, the question is now going to be, when can you exercise? If you exercise and that becomes income, you have to pay. But if the company is giving you money, I don't think you can really hide behind the fact and say because it's not exercisable in Nigeria, they're not going to tax you. I would ask a tax professional, but I suspect they will still tax you on that. But talk to a tax professional. This is more like a personal tax question. Yeah? About to go, guys. Who hasn't spoken? Blessing, you want to speak now, or should we just go off and go watch soccer? All right, Blessing, I've given you the opportunity to speak, not hide you back. Hey guys, perfect. I think we've gotten a bit more understanding now because you guys have all been fantastic. Coming in here, jumping in, giving us clarifications about the tax thingies. I read a lot about this, and if you just want to follow the way I've sort of posted them for understanding, I did FinPlan taxes on Twitter. You can see a lot of examples there. I started posting yesterday, so they are still there. I've only posted a lot since yesterday. So there are really good examples on how the government is approaching taxes, more or less. Hello, G. G, we're about to round up. What's on your mind?
Hello, good evening.
Real quick, G. G, go for it. Real quick. Okay. All right. No worries. So, but the key thing for you guys to take away is this. From next year, I believe your taxes are going to go up. So how can you reduce your tax? I'm going to go back to the point I made at the very, very beginning. How can you legally reduce your taxes? Number one, you want to try to contribute to National Housing Fund. It's already mandatory, but now sort of track those contributions. And like we've said, the pension fund administrators are able to give you 25% of the funds you have in your retirement savings account for housing. So take the money from your PFA if you want to buy a house, put it into your Nigerian Housing Fund account, and then use that to then buy your own home, right? And then you also then get a tax deferment or tax break on the interest that you pay on buying that home. That's how you want to buy a home. Don't just buy the home with a check. Take money from your PFA, put it in your housing fund, then use that money to buy the home. Then you get an interest break on your loans to buy that home. The interest on the loans for buying your own home is going to be tax deferred. Number two, NHIS, the National Health Insurance Scheme. Make sure you are registered and you are contributing. Anything you put in there is also going to be tax deferred. So make sure you also get that done, right? Number three, the PFA, the Pension Fund Administrators, also offer you retirement savings account. Anything you put in your retirement savings account will also reduce your income for tax accessibility. So if you earn $1 million and you contribute 100,000 to your RSA, your income becomes 900,000 for taxes. So you want to make sure that you do that to reduce your taxable income. Remember, you can also do a voluntary contribution to your retirement savings account. So not just the contribution that you make, the 18%, or in your case, the 8%, but you can also do additional voluntary contribution to also reduce your taxes as well. Of course, we've talked about the interest on when you buy your own property, the interest you pay on the loans, that's also going to be tax deductible. And the last one we're talking about here, so of course, when you buy annuities or you buy life insurance, not just for yourself, but also for your wife. If you buy life insurance or annuity, the premiums you pay are also tax deductible. So take advantage of this, guys. These are all good things. You are buying your house, you are doing your health insurance, you are saving money for retirement. These are all going to allow you to reduce your taxes. So take advantage of it. And let me just say one thing again, right? If you work for a company, try to get your company to pay for a tax guy to come and talk to you folks about the new tax law. So if you work for a company, the company should get a guy in there. You guys can ask him questions about how you can basically navigate this. Taxes adjust your behavior and your spending. This is not going to be any different. So you want to know, if you know, it's easier for you to then know how you're going to spend money to avoid any taxes. That's what you want to do. So get your company to then get those guys that are experts to come and talk to you about how you can avoid paying excessive taxes. You can avoid taxes. You can avoid taxes, but you're not supposed to evade. Tax avoidance is fantastic, but tax evasion, you cannot do that, right? Excellent. All right, guys, let me let you guys go. It's been an excellent week. Just a heads up, I'm going to be traveling for the next 2 Sundays. I think I'm going to be away from definitely going to be away on the 25th. So might not hold a space on that 25th, right? Might not hold that. So on the 27th, it's dicey. Might not hold a space on the 27th. I'll let you guys know. And the 3rd also might not hold a space on the 3rd. We'll let you guys know. Have a few personal things to take care of. And once I'm back, I can't wait to see you guys and all. But 27th and 3rd might be dicey and all. Might not have time for a space. But I'll let you guys know what's going to happen there. All right, folks, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us. Real appreciate it. I think we've learned a lot today. So I'll let you guys go. And we'll see you next week if it's possible. You guys have a good one. And bye. Thanks so much, guys.
Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.